got started in this career as an orgasm activist. What does that mean? Which is probably the coolest job title I've ever heard. That's amazing.
Okay, so my name is Ashley Cobb. I am, as she said, an orgasm activist. I'm also a sex blogger. That's I guess basically like my real title. So how I got started, I started a blog. I started a blog in 2016. And so I wanted to talk about sex. I went to school, like I got a degree in public health, but when I got out of school, I really couldn't find a job. I want to work like a health department type gig, and I couldn't find a job. So I kind of created my own kind of thing because I still wanted to be able to talk about sex. So I started a blog, and the blog has gradually kind of grew into what it is now. So basically what I do, I use my voice either in verbal form or written form to help people, women particularly, and particularly Black women, because I feel like Black women, we have a lot of like shame and stigma when it comes to sex, but I help people to be able to talk about sex out loud and help them to be able to, feel like they're not alone, and they can have this safe space to discuss their, desires and whatever those are. So I created my platforms as a way to do those things.
How did cannabis come into your story?
I wanted to, when they started to legalize cannabis in other states, and then they legalized CBD, I wanted to kind of get into it because I was researching it, and I was first researching cannabis lube, that's THC lube, and I was hearing about all the good results people were having. I can't legally have THC lube, not if I don't want to go to jail, so I have to do the CBD kind. And I was like, oh, okay, so I was again researching the benefits of CBD and sex. And then I also, this is probably about a year and a half ago, I was like trying to come up with different things, CBD products. And so I was letting people try it out, people who necessarily don't know me, just on Facebook, like, oh, I'm trying this new thing, do you want to try some? People like, oh, sure, yeah. I let a few people try different products, and I realized from doing that, some women who were having like PCOS, endometriosis, and like other issues around periods had tried some like the bath salts and were like how it really helped them. I'm like, okay, so this can really, it's a real thing. It can work. And so just from trying different things, having people test it out, that's kind of how I got into it. I realized that there was a market for it, and it really was helpful.
Now, so what are some of the benefits in your research and in your studies and in your conversations with people, for folks that are going to be watching this, that are going to be like, why would I want to do that?
So it's two benefits. So people who have painful sex, so there are a lot of women who don't really get to enjoy sex because they have a lot of things going on. So sex is painful. Vaginism is those people who can't really, their vagina wall constricts, so it doesn't really let them have anything be able to insert without pain.
Right.
So you have those people. You have people who, like I said, have endometriosis, just kind of pain all the time, and then PCOS, menstrual pain, all that stuff. So for those people, I feel like everyone should be able to have pleasurable sex. Even I feel like everyone should be pain free. So for those people, CBD helps with, it's a anti-inflammatory, so it would help with that. And also CBD it's a targeted topical. There you go. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. There you go. So anything that, wherever it touches is where it's the area that is going to affect. Right. So for example, like if you got a CBD lube, and you placed it, let's say on your clitoris, for example, so that it will work in that area. So if you place it in your vaginal wall, same thing. So it helps people who have painful sex, people who like myself, who don't have painful sex. It also helps with sensation, and it also helps with creating lubrication. And those are two things that are needed to have for sex to be more enjoyable, because the wetter the better. That's like a real thing. The wetter we are, the more enjoyable the sex will be. And even people who I hear people say, well, I don't necessarily need a lube or something, I think that's false. Everybody should use lube, period. Because even over time, even if you naturally lubricate perfectly fine, over time of the sexual intercourse, you're gonna dry out unless it's like a 1 minute situation, then maybe not. But if you're doing something that lasts a significant amount of time, you're gonna dry out. So you're gonna need to use lube of some type. And then it helps with sensation, because whatever part that it touches, the CBD touches, it helps to increase sensation in that area. So for example, if you use it on your nipples, if you use it on your clitoris, it will help to create extra sensation in those areas. Yeah, I like nipple play. So anything that creates extra sensation, I'm like all down for.
Me, I'm sensitive and I don't like being touched there, but maybe that might help. And I'm one of these people that has painful sex. So I use cannabis to help me with that. Mm-hmm. And it works quite well. Because the topical side of it, I haven't explored as much. It's more me taking cannabis, which is something I'm really interested in. We don't have the vaginal inserts here yet, the suppositories. Mm-hmm. That was something I was curious about.
They're geared particularly, well, one or two ways. They're geared to either use them for menstrual cycles, you can use them for anal sex, and three ways. And you can use them for regular sex, period. So the first two ways are probably how most people use them, with periods and anal sex, because with anal sex, CBD helps to relax whatever it touches also, and helps. It's also an anti-inflammatory. So with anal sex, you need to be very relaxed and it needs to be very lubed. So inserting a suppository into your anus during anal sex will help you to relax that area. So whenever you're inserting, it won't be so much resistance.
And I think it's great that you're doing what you're doing and you're having these conversations and you're so open and bold and wonderful with it. And I just thank you for your time.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.